Hello everybody and welcome to Forever Sports, and it is the Yuxke Derby this weekend. Bulls versus Lions. It should be an absolute cracker. You've got the Bulls under all sorts of pressure, especially after that loss against the Sharks last week, where I thought they were pretty awful. In fact, been a long time since we see maybe the Bulls under Jake White playing so poorly and just looking so blunt really on attack. So they will be desperate to try and bounce back and make sure that this doesn't kind of become a trend and that the season doesn't sort of start to fall apart a little bit. They're very, very comfortable in the top four, but there has sort of been a steady decline that we've seen in recent times in terms of performances, even if not necessarily results. For example, got that win against the Stormers, which is mainly down to Stormers' goal kicking being absolutely dreadful. The Lions, on the other hand, we saw a response from them last weekend. They had a brilliant start to the URC. Things then kind of fell off the bus a little bit, but they started to get things back into gear. And last week's win against Stormers would have been a huge confidence boost. They probably could have beaten the Bulls actually at home about a month ago, where they just have a few less sloppy moments, and they'll know that tomorrow they put together an 80-minute performance. They can get at this Bulls side, so it should be a really interesting clash. Before we look at the two teams, please do smash a like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. Let's look at how the Bulls line up. And in the front row, it's an incredible front row of Gerard Steenekamp, Jan Kobler, and Wilco Louw. Backed up by Kobus Wiese and JF van Heerden. In fact, if you look at that pack, by the way, that entire pack has been invited to the Springbok alignment camp. A back row of Marco van Staden, Reynard Ludwig, and Pilo Gamedi, who finally gets a start after being so brilliant for the Bulls. Struggled for game time recently. So it's a fantastic pack. It's a pack to go and try and dominate the Lions. And I think that's what the Lions are going to need to try and do, is try and neutralize that pack, or at least sort of go toe-to-toe with that pack. Because I think if you look at this backline from the Bulls, I don't think the Lions will be stressing about it too much, in terms of what they potentially could have. So Bruce Appeal, partner Villaroo, who struggled at a 10, if you're going to be brutally honest, hasn't quite been the switch that the Bulls would have really liked. David Creel on goal kicking duty is a decent backup to have, but he's not an out-and-out goal kicker and has struggled a little bit. Stephen Kantz comes back into the side. I mean, he was electric a few years ago, but it hasn't really played as much as he'd like to. Probably this season, on his day, it could be really, really good. So it's a backline with potential that just isn't quite firing. It's a dangerous back three, though. Sebastian de Klerk also being noticed by Rassie Erasmus. You then got Kanan Moody and Devin Williams, who is always dangerous with ball in hand. So it's a nice Bulls for team. The conditions would also be interesting because it's a Bulls team that wants it to be dry. From a backline point of view, because that's where Devin Williams and the lights can really start getting going. Having said that, though, we have had a lot of rain in Gauteng, and a messy game with lots of scrums would probably really suit them. Off the bench, though, we're going with a 5-3 split, 2 scrum offs on the bench, so showing you that little bit of a lack of backline depth at the moment with the injuries. So you've got Jan-Hendrik Wessels, Alaluto Tsekweni, Francois Klopper. I do think that Alaluto Tsekweni is somebody who the Lions could probably have a go at. Jan-Hendrik Wessels coming off bouncing again at hooker, for example. And you've got Ruben Vermaak and Nizam Carr as your two other forward replacements. Zach Berger, Keegan Johannes, and Sergio Peterson. It's not a phenomenal bench from the Bulls. We've seen much stronger from them. So they'll be relying on majority of that on that starting 15 to really get the game on the front foot. If we then look at the Lions, this is what they look like. So in the front row, Johan Skuman, PJ Burton, Asanate, and Tlabakanye. That very much hinges on Tlabakanye, to be honest. I think him versus Gerard Steenekamp should be a very cool battle to watch. I think Wilco Louw is going to probably do a bit of a job on Johan Skuman. So as a Lions fan, I look at that front row from the Bulls, and it does make me nervous. But a nice test for the Lions front row. In the second row, I thought Etienne Oosthuizen was very impressive last week against the Stormers. I think he's someone who can continue to develop, could put himself on the Rassie Erasmus radar. Darren Landsberg's been very good this season as well. We've then got Jared Keynes, who comes into the loose chair. No JC Pretorius, and no word of him in the injury replacements either. So a bit of a strange decision for him to drop out. You then got Ruan Fenter and Franco Horn completing that loose chair. Loose chair battle tomorrow should be a lot of fun. Then you got Morty van der Berg partnering Johnny Lombard, who I thought had his best game since coming back to the Lions last week. I thought he was brilliant. He was absolutely everywhere, making some nice tackles, kicking beautifully. I don't think he missed a kick last week. Was really impressive. So if he can have that kind of game tomorrow, I think that gives the Lions a very good chance of causing that upset. You think of Edel van der Merwe, Richard Creel, and Quan Horn at the back three. Watch out for Horn. We all know how dangerous he is, and last week he showed that in bucket loads. Marius Lowe is very confrontational. Then Henk van Wyk, who's looking to continue to try and silence maybe some of the few doubts that we have after getting that call up. Some people talking about the fact he might not be quick enough or big enough to be playing international rugby, an opportunity for him to have a go at the Bulls. Then off the bench for the Lions is Jakob Asaki, Morgan Nordia, Conrad van Vuren. They're going with a 6-2 split that features Ruan Dalport, Siva Bola Goma, Renzo Duplessis, who comes back to the side, playing, I think, just his 6th game this season so far. And then you've got Nico Steyn and then Emmanuel Ras. Nico Steyn, the one that can really enable that 6-2 split because he can fill and fly half if needed. So it's not a bad line side. Jason Torres, I think, somebody who we're going to miss out a little bit. Hopefully we see Renzo Duplessis trying to make a big case for himself off the bench to try and get more game time. In terms of predictions, it's Bulls' game, I think, in theory, to lose because at home advantage, they have probably got the better 23, but Lions playing with full of confidence. They'll know if they can go get a result tomorrow, that puts them literally back into the top 8 and gives them a huge boost trying to make the top 8 URC playoffs and the Champions Cup to go. So far more on the line tomorrow for the Lions than probably for the Bulls. What are your predictions? Let me know down in the comments below. Smash a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel as well. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Steve. I'll chat to you soon.